going on? Heavy here with more heavy thoughts. And you're about to watch a little podcast I started with my high schoolers about 3 or 4 years ago. So that's my son back there. You a trip, man. I always do this when I'm riding home from work. But you're going to hear him and I talking about Black males being able to express themselves and how there are limited spaces where our thoughts and ideas and opinions are actually welcomed. And from what I see, from what I observe, it seems to be rap music and stand-up comedy where people actually want to hear the thoughts and opinions of Black men. And you're going to hear me talk about how I don't think movies and film or plays are actually representations of Black male thought, because usually the Black male is not the writer and does not usually have final say so of the finished product. But when it comes to, music that somebody creates, they usually do, except if a major studio is in on it. But usually when it comes to somebody making music or doing their own stand-up comedy, it's written by that person. If it's a Black male, then they have control of that. And what they say on that track or on stage is welcomed, is wanted. But it's very few places where that actually happens outside of the studio and outside of the stage. So I want you to listen to this because it's very important what goes on here.
And it's accepted, it's wanted. Like, people want them to be bold. But in school, think about it. School is not like that. Like, when you think about your Black male peers, what do you see? How do you see your Black males being treated?
Well, I see them like as I kind of estrange myself from them, because
he said he estranges himself from his Black male peers. That's why I brought this up, because this is what a lot of people do not. Okay, so you're a hype back there. This is something that people do not want to talk about. Since we are brought up in this capitalistic, materialistic, competitive environment, we forget what impact that has on the minds of our youth, especially our young Black male youth.
And it's not. I feel like it's my own problem. Like, I feel bad because I do that. And you know how like humorous I am in class. Mm-hmm. It's because I build up this wall. Like
he said, "Do you see how humorous I am in class?" Because he's trying to use the humor to deal with his nervousness, to deal with his anxiety of feeling like he doesn't fit in with the rest of the Black males in class. Because earlier I talked about how this student has a large vocabulary, is very intelligent, and many times in class he'll use his intelligence to be humorous, so he doesn't seem so smart. It's sad to say, but a lot of kids do not want to seem smart around their peers, because that intelligence is not accepted socially amongst Black people as something good, as something to be celebrated. But I'll just hit play real quick.
I'm scared to try to connect with them.
He said I'm scared to connect with them, but he knows the humor will connect with them. Humor connects with everybody.
Because I don't want to speak that way, but still, because you know how I was raised. Yes, but still, I mean, it's just ironic. But like, I still want to be, with my peers, and.
See, he still wants to be with his peers. He still wants to be amongst other Black male kids. But he's nervous because he doesn't speak like a lot of them, with a lot of profanity every other word, about sports, about LeBron and KD and Steph Curry every other second. He has other interests. And I know this because I know him and I had been speaking to him. But I could just tell that there was a disconnect between him and other students. And I noticed this with other students. My son is hype, boy. He glad to be with daddy and out of daycare. You off the chain. Let's see what else he has to say, though.
Socialize and do all this stuff. And I just can't. I don't know why. I don't know why.
I get it. I can tell you why. Because you you understand what I'm saying, because as a black male, you understand that pressure that other people put on you to speak a certain way, to have a certain.
Now, what I'm saying here is he feels the pressure from his peers to speak a certain way, and at the same time, there's an expectation from parents, teachers, and other mentors and other adults to speak a certain way. And those two ways of speaking conflict with each other, because the peers are expecting you to speak with a certain type of slang, bravado, machismo, confidence, and the adults and the academic world is expecting you to speak with large vocabulary in a way that you can articulate your words eloquently so that anybody who was listening to the conversation would understand it. But the adults and the peers are expecting two different things, and it puts black males at a dilemma.
Grade point average to be a certain way. For many black males, they're always fighting that duality of how do I find myself? How do I do what I want when so many other people want me to be something else? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
And that's why I think that the topic of black music is real important, because too many people dog black males out for wanting to be rappers or wanting to be stand-up comedians. And I think it has more to do with expression and having others love that expression. Because I don't think...
that's what I don't think people consider. As much as we dog out our kids for wanting to be rappers or stand-up comedians or some type of entertainer, they're forgetting how great it feels to have someone want to listen to you. Like my son, he wants somebody to listen. Man, I hear you, brother. Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah. But yes, back to what I'm saying. People forget how great it feels. Think about all these YouTube channels that are popping up. Because there's been an increase and the number of people that have internet access and that are using the internet and are actually utilizing YouTube or Patreon. People want to be heard. Even if they're not making tons of money like me. I'm not making tons of money. I'm trying to make a difference. I'm hoping somebody connects with the frequency and wavelength of my words and my ideas. And I open their eyes to something that was once closed to them. And now it's open and they can have a better understanding of somebody else's perspective. And they can rock with it and ride the wave of my thoughts. That's what I'm hoping. Because it does feel good to be listened to. And I don't think that should be downplayed or degraded because somebody feels good because somebody else listens to them. And it also points to the fact that a lot of black males just are not listened to. And not only that, with rap music and with stand-up comedy, people want to hear your words. And it is just far and few between to find people that actually set out to actually hear the words of a black man that is not famous or not a celebrity. People just don't think about that. And it's so much value into knowing that you want to be heard. And for a lot of black males, black boys, and black men, it is not the case that a lot of us are in spaces around people who want and seek out our opinions and thoughts. That doesn't happen. So it doesn't surprise me that so many people want to be entertainers because people set out to hear those famous entertainers and see those entertainers. But that doesn't happen for a lot of black males. Let's continue.
Get that in school. And that's why I'm the teacher I am. The same way you are in class. Like he's very funny and alive in class and joking and very energetic. And I love that. And I'm the same way because I want to connect with the students. I want to make all of y'all feel comfortable that you can do this too. Like what I'm doing is nothing. You can do it too. You feel me? Because so many people say that we can't do these things, that I as a teacher, I can't connect with you this way.
Right, you just gotta, open your textbooks, turn to the page, and then just do your work. Now, we need teachers to build relationships with their students and to make them feel comfortable, exactly what you just said. And so, I completely agree.
And I can totally agree why you said that sometimes you put up a wall when you're around other black people because we're always walking up with a wall. No one likes to be made fun of or talked about for whatever the reason is. So it's hard to interact with black people because you just don't know how they're gonna react. They may not react well to your kindness. They may think something's wrong with you simply
you're
because
weak,
you're
See, that is key too. In this competitive, materialistic, individualistic world, you think somebody who's being kind to you is a sucker waiting to be exploited. So many blacks take kindness as a sign of weakness, and that you should not be messed with. That hey, maybe you're trying to finesse us and trick us if you're being nice. A lot of people, they're not talking about this because a lot of this explains the behaviors of black people, especially black males.
That's the main thing. They think I'm weak because I'm being nice. I hold the door for an old lady. Oh man, what you doing? Like, I'm being nice. I'm being a gentleman. What I was raised to be.
And what do you think that points to then? If black people are nervous because other black people or other people are being nice to them, what does that say about the way they've been treated then?
I feel like they've been mistreated.
Yes,
Been treated.
exactly.
That's right. They've been mistreated. So many black people, especially black males, have been mistreated that they think this mistreatment is how they're supposed to be treated. So when they get the opposite, which is kindness, they're like, whoa, this ain't right. And that's sad. And you can see this play out in all of our relationships, whether they're intimate relationships, parent, child relationship, teacher, student relationships, whatever relationship it is. You can tell that being nice and kind to people is not accepted well because most of us have been mistreated.
They've been mistreated so much that it's odd when someone is nice. Which points us back to the music. Now we can understand why there's so much violent hate and anger in this music. Because that's how black people are treated. And remember we went over the slave narrative?
Yeah.
They was created out of their suffering and pain.
Right.
Same with the music.
Negro spirituals.
Exactly. Out of their suffering and pain. And that's why these people are screaming out that we've been mistreated, we've been hurt, and I'm not going to just be quiet about it anymore.
So in class, we were going over the Negro spirituals of the slave narratives and how they were created out of the pain and suffering. Same with the music today. Our young boys and grown men have been assaulted, beaten, murdered with guns. So it's no surprise that a lot of the music is about gun violence. We've been mistreated by women, so a lot of it is misogynistic about our experiences of being mistreated by women. A lot of it is misandric because a lot of men have also violated other black men. So the same type of suffering you experience, you're going to see that show up in your music. So this is just another way that we have to start analyzing our experiences to figure out why we're behaving the way that we are. It's not as simple as people put it, but you know, I think it's good that we do things like this to talk to the youth. I hope you enjoyed the video.
What's up, family? I got a treat for you all today. I got the brother Rodney Smith in the building of the Black Family Institute YouTube channel. Go subscribe to the Black Family Institute YouTube channel. Not right now, but right now. Go subscribe right now. The link is in the description. This brother is doing excellent work, as you can see from the clip. So, Brother Rodney Smith, aka Heavy Hooks, aka Dean Smith, is here in the building on Shows of Giants. And I had to get him here because a couple weeks ago, I was going through YouTube and I came across a video from Dr. T. Hassan Johnson's YouTube channel. That link is in the description. Make sure you subscribe to Dr. T. Hassan Johnson's channel as well. But I saw him, he had a video of talking about how young black men need it. And then within the video, it was actually Brother Rodney Smith and Dr. T. Hassan Johnson breaking down Brother Rodney's video, talking to a young 12-year-old boy about our black men needed in our society. And we actually, myself, Patrick, and PC, we actually reacted to that video here on this channel. And it was only fitting to have the brother Rodney Smith on the channel. So welcome, my brother. How you doing today?
Man, I'm doing great. Thanks for the invitation. You know I couldn't turn it down, man. Your channel is awesome, man. Especially the concept of standing on the shoulders of giants. I love it, man. You're doing great work yourself. And thanks for all my compliments.
Oh, no, man. You deserve everything, man. Like I said earlier, you are in the trenches with the children and working with them and helping them really think about the world that they live in. and not just exist in it, but think about the world that they live in and how they can better themselves in the world around them. So you have on your channel, you interview the children within your class. So how did that, before we get into this video, like how did it come about you interviewing the children in your class?
It came from them, honestly. I can't take credit for nothing. So we was in class and one of my students was like, hey, let's create a YouTube channel and some of these conversations we have, let's record them. I'm like, sure. Hey, I want to connect with the students. I want to build relationships. So that's how it came about. I got to give all the props to my students.
Right. Now that's good. But not only did they have the idea, but you helped follow up with it, and they're the integral part of this channel. And so hats off to the children, and hats off to you for making it happen.
For real, but definitely hats off to them. And the way you put it, trying to get them to think, that's all I'm trying to do. Because I know that our world would be a much better place if we have spaces where we can think and work out some of the problems that we see in the world. We do our kids a disservice when we don't give them that space to actually think about it before they're actually adults.
Right. No, you're right about that. But and I noticed that in several of your videos, especially when you're talking with the children, they'll say something and then you'll challenge them on that. And you can tell that they've never really thought about it. They're parroting something. But the problem is adults are doing the same thing. They sound just like the adults. And you pointed that out in one of your videos, that they sound just like the adults. Why does a 32-year-old woman sound like this 12-year-old girl?
Yep, that's so true. It's because they never had the opportunity to actually work out a problem as a youth. And we don't live in a society where we're taught to actually challenge and be curious and do research. We're only forced to do these boring papers in school. But in my class, I'm like, man, if they want me to tell them to do research, why is that the only moment they get to be critical of something? We need to be critical about all these things in our world that they're going to deal with when they get out of the classroom.
Nah, that's true. That's true. But that brings us to the video we just watched. That was heavy.
Yeah, it was.
That was heavy, but it's a much needed conversation with the young man. And it started off talking about being able to express himself. Like he used the word estranged, and he used it like he knows what it means. And he used the word estranged. I intentionally estranged myself from the other black people because I'm not comfortable expressing myself, who I am, because it's almost like this box that young black men have to speak in. Can you go further into that in the conversations with him and how all of this came about with him?
Yeah, so estranged was one of our vocabulary words.
Okay.
And clearly he learned it.
Right.
Well, all of the students that had really big vocabularies tended to also know about social issues and history. So him and a few other students connected really well with me. And then I actually asked him, did he want to do a podcast with me? So I have other episodes on another channel where we talk about different things. And I just noticed in class, he felt more comfortable talking with me, either one-on-one or in a group setting. If he was talking to me, it didn't matter. And I noticed he didn't connect well with his peers. And it wasn't just him, it was other students too. But I know he felt comfortable enough with me to actually say it on camera. We had, a lot of respect for each other. So he was able to let his guard down to actually say those things. And I wanted to share that with people so that they can see that we're all not these monster killers that, Hillary Clinton and everybody think we are.
Right. No, I mean, it has to be displayed. We have to be able to see black men in different light from what we're used to seeing, what the mainstream media puts out, because we're violent, oversexed beings who can't communicate, we have no feelings, and we're just penises and wallets and muscle.
Yes.
And it's like, no, we are fully functioning human beings with full range of emotions, full capability, cognitive abilities, and all these different things here. But I feel like I can only express my like the young man. I get it. I get what he's going through. You feel like you only express yourself in this particular way because any other way you are not accepted, and that's something we need to really be looking at and helping to change in our society.
Man, I agree. And before I forget, so I didn't really mean on that podcast, I didn't mean to go where I went with it. But as we were talking, because the topic was really just about black music.
Right.
But as I started talking, I realized that the music is creating a image that he was trying to escape from. He's not the thug killer that everybody wants to hear on the music. And then it got me thinking too about how we still want to be the rapper because at least somebody's going to listen to us.
Right.
And that's what we were getting to too, the expression. He knows nobody wants to hear him. But me, I love it. I love what he talks about in class. So of course I'm gonna gravitate to him. But his peers, they don't know as much history as him because, you know, he's not being raised by a single parent home. He has two parents. They had time to get off work and teach him history and take him out of town. Mm-hmm. So of course he's gonna have a different experience than a lot of the other kids whose single parent homes never left the city.
Right.
And so that's why, you know, we built that connection and why this conversation was so important and deep.
But it's also important because it's almost as if he's being told by society that his black experience is not what authentic blackness is.
Yes.
You know? Yes. It's like the new norm for blackness, or the new idea of blackness, is a broken home, violent, like oversex, all the bad characteristics that we can think of, the most ratchet stuff, the most vile stuff. This is black. This is black culture. This is how black people exist. And if you're a black man, if you don't either associate with the athletes or the rappers or the dope boys, then where do you exist?
Exactly. And then that explains a lot of our behaviors, especially as men. We want women, so we see our women loving the dope boys and the thugs and the gangsters, so we try to dress and talk and act like them just because we want to be heard and loved by our women. But then we get conflicted because we're like, but I'm not that.
Right.
And, you know, and I get to step in his life and be like, hey, me and you, we're similar. It's okay. You are authentically black. But like you said, I've written that comment that you just said. It makes it seem like being authentically black is that gangster, you know, horrible image of black males, and that is just not true. But a lot of people, they keep feeding into it and buying into it, and I think it just fractures our community.
I think a good example that a lot of people don't like to talk about is Sha'Carri Richardson.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't become Black America's darling because of her prowess on the track. It was her look. She had the lace front with the tattoos and the lashes and the nails. Because think about it, it was just one black woman racing against other black women.
Yeah,
they could have been admiring all the black women at once, but they picked out the one black woman that represented hood qualities and put her out there. And this is like, that's, to me, that's a great example of how we are seeing ourselves now. You have to the left of her and to the right of her black women who have more of a, I guess you could say, old way or no look, but this woman has the wig, the lashes, the nails, tattoos. Oh, authentic blackness. Let's put her on the pedestal.
You are
and
right.
everybody else, I don't know what y'all are, but y'all ain't black like her.
Yep. And it just further divides our community. You were on point with that one.
Right.
And then when she was losing, they want to blame it on the look and the characteristics of authentically black women. Like, what? No.
Like y'all set her up.
Right. I'm totally with you on that.
Right. But no, that's why the conversation you were having with the young man is very important, because like you started off, only rappers, athlete, entertainers, dope boys, those are the only ones with the real voice in the black community. If you're a black man and you're not a celebrity or you're not rich, you don't have a voice.
Yep.
That's unfortunate.
It is. And you know what I showed in that class? So that was high school. I don't teach high school now.
Okay.
But I would show them COINTELPRO, the government, how they had in the 10-point plan or 5-point plan, I can't remember how many points it was, how they wanted to make sure that black kids were basically miseducated, so that they can so that it was easy for me to say, hey, that's why they want your entertainers to be uneducated and seemingly apolitical, so they can create your political thought and tell you who you are and what you should be doing with your life.
Yeah.
That's why they want the rappers to all be young and uneducated, because they know they're the thought leaders.
I was just looking at a clip. I can't remember who I was looking at, but they were talking about how older rappers are almost pushed out of the game. So once you hit 30, we shouldn't support the older rappers anymore. But he was like, well, think about it. If I'm 30, 35, 40, and I'm making music, you can't give me some trash contract. But if I'm 21 and I'm just trying to make it, I'll sign without it. I'll take that 75,000 sign-up bonus for the trash contract.
Yeah, because you probably really need that 75K. I mean,
exactly.
Hey, but okay, I went further too, because I agree with you. And what started to make me upset was all of the prominent black people that were dogging out rap music never created a label for positive rappers. So how dare you ever talk about the game if y'all not creating a label to help out the artists that are talented that want to push positive conscious stuff.
Right. But that leads to another point you made in the video as well. The rappers, the athletes, the dope boys, the children love them because the access that they have to them, and they are listening to the children. So the young man says he feels like he doesn't have a voice within his friend group. So not him, we know he didn't do it per se, but another young man that could be in that position goes out, and the dope boy or whoever else is talking to him is listening to him and sitting down, yo, shorty, let me do this, let me do that. Why wouldn't they look up to him? Where are the lawyers? Where are the other people? I mean, that's why some of you in the position that you're in is very, very, very important, because they have an alternative now. They can see, well, Mr. Smith really cares about me. I don't have to go out here and be with these people to try to have a voice with these people. I naturally have a voice in this space.
That's so true. And that's what I'm trying to create, to let them know that, hey, there's alternatives. Look, I got a house. I'm not out here trapping. I'm a teacher and I still live in a house, not an apartment. I got a car that I own. I don't have no loan on it. All of that. So you're right. I want them to see that there's an alternative where you can live a happy life and not be destructive to your people.
Yeah. It's a part of breaking the program that we've been given. And then the system that we're in, the school system, like you said, it was designed to miseducate young black youth. It really wasn't put for us. So to have you in there to help them navigate the system, but to give them the little nuggets to get from one place to the next. Because looking at the video you did with the young women talking about they didn't think black men are needed. Of course, we know these are not thoughts that they came up with.
Right.
It's the environment that they're in. But just going from young black men feeling like they don't have a voice to black women or other black people with the mindset of black men are not needed, like you can see this, you can see how they connect.
You definitely can. And you're right. I'm glad you brought that up, that they're just parroting what they hear their people in media parroting. And it's up to us to say something, but it's not enough people saying it. Like, I got to give it up to Dr. Tommy Curry and Dr. Tia Sign, because I just didn't have these thoughts growing up. I thought just like these kids. That's why I sympathize with the kids, because I never sat there. I really thought I was here to serve women. Not myself. You took, see, like, how could I not think that? Like, from the time I was born, you got to open up the door. Women talk first. Women eat first. Women do this first. Women do that first. Like, why wouldn't our kids think everything is built for women and men are just supposed to go to war and throw themselves in front of buses and bullets for women? Like, there's never been an opportunity for me to learn something otherwise until I ran into their material and I had to rethink everything.
You know what's crazy when you're saying that? So since 2009, I've worked in IVA and section domestic violence prevention. I was in the middle of a domestic violence prevention conference, and a light bulb went off in my head. Is this about power? Is this about equality or power? Because I'm hearing what everybody's saying, but this doesn't sound like equality to me. This sounds like, of course, I can't say this out loud. I'm at the disadvantage, but that's the first time I started really thinking about a counter narrative to, especially how black men have been portrayed. Like I do not like the Color Purple movie. It had nothing to do with all the information I had. And I just never liked the movie. But now with all the information now, it's like, movies like that are really not good because they help to perpetuate the narrative of black men being oppressive, black men being all black men are oppressive, all black men are abusive, and all we want to do is oppress black women. It's like, well, nah, we don't even have the power to do that.
None.
It's crazy, man.
It is. It's so crazy. As you were talking, I had this thought. I was like, dang, if we're all these horrible, how can we be all of those horrible things, but also throwing our bodies in front of you, letting you go first? How can we be both at the same time? We can't be. So we can't be these monsters and at the same time protect you and go out and work all these long hours for you. So you're right. It's about power. It ain't about equality. And these waves of feminism work, because I got other videos too where I have high school girls saying the same thing. Like,
yes,
black men, you're a part of the patriarchy. And I'm like, and then when I get to asking them, well, how?
Right.
Like, where are the black male CEOs? And then when there are black male CEOs, who do they hire more than black male CEOs?
Right.
We're way more diverse than everybody gives us credit.
Right.
And then they're like, wow, I didn't think of it that way. I was like, how could you? That's why I'm here.
But that's the brilliance in what you're doing, because it's simple but difficult at the same time. But like you was talking about the video with the young girls, do you need both the male and the female to build strong societies, or can just single mother households build strong societies? And but halfway through the conversation, you had pretty much all of them walking it back, trying to think about what they're saying, because of the questions that you're asking. You're really getting them to think, but they came into it with the idea of it's okay to just be a single mother because we can make it. Look, my mother made it, so why can't I make it?
Yes.
So we got to challenge that.
We got to. And that's why too, because at first when I was asking the questions, I thought they were too leading. So that's why I was like giving them choices. Hey, single mom and dad, is one better than the other? Are they the same? So I can give them the choice so people can see I'm not leading them. They're going to choose what they want to choose. Then I'm going to give them more information to see if they're going to walk it back, like you said. And once you give somebody more information, usually they're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I see what you're saying now.
So future conversation, even more of that conversation, what were their thoughts on men, period, after that conversation? Did that thought process change, or did it kind of later come back and double down on the original thought? Like, what was the outcome of that?
Yeah, they're always, since they're so young, they stick with what they end up with. So if we end up with saying, oh, okay, both men and women are needed, yeah, it wouldn't be so good with single moms, a whole society of them, they stick with that. With the high schoolers, since they're older, they're really what I say. But the middle schoolers, since they're so young, they have no allegiance to feminism like an older high school, because the older kids, like the guy I was interviewing, he was 17. Right. So it's gonna be harder for them to change. But the younger kids, they stick with it.
Gotcha. But and those conversations, once again, are so important to really get them to think. Going back to the conversation with you, with the 12-year-old boy about our black man needed, because that connects with the conversation with the 17-year-old. Because you were talking about how black men are treated. So if you're in a society where people think black men aren't needed, how will black men be treated by that society?
Not well.
We
They
got
will
to
not
think
be treated well. You're right. That connects perfectly. That is a good connection. And I mean, and it's true. We're not
Right.
treated well because they want us to think we're not needed so that we can keep being disposable. That's why. Because that's how I viewed myself for a while. Like, I guess I am disposable like all other men. Because when I talk to women, that's immediately what they say. Well, y'all commit the most murders?
Right. Man, but it's so great you said that. I didn't grow up in that real violent area. Like, it was violence, but it wasn't overly violent. But we were told so much that young black boys don't make it to 21. I honestly didn't think I was going to make it to 21. And we were just like, man, well, we're going to live it up because, you know, if we make it past 21.
And wasn't that the opening scene of almost every movie? Like Boys in the Hood, wasn't that in the opening scene?
Right. And it's like, it's the programming. If it's played in our minds over and over and over and over, I would not value myself, so I'm not going to treat myself good, and I'm not going to treat other black men well because we're all disposable.
Yes, we're all disposable, and they push that. Oh, what was you saying? I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying we got to think about that.
No, I totally agree. That's what this is all about because I want us to think about this and flesh it out because we are not disposable. You're not just about to throw all of us away. We have a right to exist here just like everybody else. And you're right. You got me thinking too about how this society and not this comment is not just for black males, but it affects us the most. We're not even taught to, whatever color you are or gender, you're never taught to think about yourself and be like, well, is what I'm doing helping me?
Right.
Don't I deserve to feel good? Don't I deserve to be happy? Am I taking care of myself?
Right.
Do I need to take a break from this? Should I stop drinking as much? Like, we never nobody's ever telling us, take time to yourself. Ask yourself if you're happy. How you living? Is it any changes you would like to make, self? Or self, I'm proud of you. Like, none of that helpful stuff we get told.
Right. I wonder how much of that leads to us not going to the doctor, not really taking better care of our physical health, because it's almost like we use the word grind, and I think we need to pay more attention to the words that we use, because we use the word grind, and that means to wear down.
Yep.
So we out here grinding, we're being worn down, and we're dying out.
Man, you are on point with that. And then, because when you said it, you know, I make music. I'm thinking about words that we use, and we're always using it. And now I'm like, dang, that's a part of the program. They want us to grind ourselves down, so we're nothing.
Right.
We just wear ourselves out.
And that's crazy that's how it's set up. Like the system of white supremacy, it's set up like that. It's refined itself. It's changed over the years. It's not the way it used to be, but you know, now that it's like on autopilot with us, like, because the programming that they gave is on autopilot. So we're literally grinding ourselves down from the programming that's given to us.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts, man.
So the young man, the 12-year-old, did he ever come to the realization that he will one day become a black man?
Nah, it was no hope for him. Like, even after the mic stopped, like, he still was on that, like, black man ain't needed. We don't need them. They don't do nothing. I was like, wow. I just listened because, you know, it's nothing I can do.
Right.
But the other people in the class was shaking their head like, this dude crazy.
Yeah, because I wonder, like, where he's going to be, what he's going to be doing when that realization hit him that you are going to become a black man. So are you yourself?
I'm sorry to cut you off. I think I remember now. His father hurt him really bad.
Okay.
I think that's why he don't want to deal with it.
Gotcha.
Because I just thought about I was listening to him talk, and he had revealed that his father hurt him really bad in a bad way, and I think that's a part of it.
So that's understandable.
Yeah,
that's understandable why his viewpoint will be, well, black men aren't needed because my father isn't needed, so why any other black man needed?
Right.
but still not distinguish him from himself becoming a black man and you being a black man, because you're different. They say you in it because it's like I remember being a high school student and certain teachers were teachers and certain teachers wasn't. They were a lot more, and you were fitting that mold of you a teacher, but you're not a teacher.
And that's what the students say.
Yeah,
that's exactly what they would say.
Yeah. But that's a great thing, because that means you actually have a genuine connection with them. They see you as more than a teacher. They see you as someone they can trust. They care about.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But that's funny. You got it down packed. That's exactly what they would say.
Because I remember, we older, but I remember being in high school, and it was we still cool today. Sam Carter. He was a teacher, but he wasn't a teacher, but he was a teacher. But it was like he's one of the people it's probably over 100 of us who probably would be dead in jail if it weren't for him.
Oh, and wow.
You're gonna be the same way. You are the same way.
You're right.
Yeah, man. So like once again, like shout out to everything that you're doing.
Man, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. So another thing you all got into and get you to elaborate on. He's talking about black man not fitting in. The young man, he felt like he didn't fit in. But it's the same thing. He felt like he didn't fit in because the way he talked, the way he walked, the way he dressed, the environment he comes in. How often do you see young children, high schoolers or middle schoolers, feeling like they don't fit in because they come from a more privileged background?
I saw it more in the high school than middle school, because in middle school, they still young, they still figuring things out. From what I see, it's not like because at high school, that's when they start developing more of like cliques, and start judging people based on their clothing and stuff and how they dress. So I saw it more in high school than I do in the middle school. But I saw it because he liked comic books, he liked to read novels. And that's not something a lot of our black kids are used to.
Right.
And again, let me tell a different story. So I had a African, first and second generation African in the class, and he was talking about the African Americans. And it just so happened I knew a little bit about his background. And he was dogging out the African American students for not having a car and dirty clothes or something. I was like, bro, who bought you your car? Your parents bought you a brand new car because they nurses and doctors from the land. You got the nerve to be talking about these kids who got one parent, their mama struggling. Like,
right.
You don't understand the dynamics, but a lot of times this goes unchecked, and we don't understand why there's animosity between Africans and African Americans. And that still ties into us fitting in, though, because his thought was, you got to look good, you got to dress good, or you're not being authentically black, So that's how I saw it. But anytime in my class, they know Mr. Smith, I'm going to say something. I'm going to check you and give you some information to make you walk back what you're talking about.
But you have to do that. You have to check them. You have to challenge them. You have to make them realize that this stuff is superficial. At the end of the day, we need each other.
Facts.
Black men need black men, black women need black women, and black men need black women, black women need black men. We need each other. We're on this team by ourselves. Nobody's coming to save us, so we have to get this stuff together, but we can't have another generation of people growing up hating each other or being fed the narrative that we hate each other and then buying into that narrative.
Now, I told them that. We got into that. I told them, well, who is this coming from that you got to have these nice cars and clothes? And they were like, oh, the white media. Exactly. They're trying to split us up, y'all.
Right. But it's like a lot of the arguments that come from the manosphere and I guess you could say the red pill space and the pink pill space for the men and the women. And a lot of them, I know it's a lot of misunderstanding because we get some of the comments, some of the videos we make on here because we're genuinely trying to get to the root of what's going on with us and have an intelligent discussion about it. But sometimes feelings get caught up in it. But if we're not able to have the hard, tough conversations, if women can't call men out and men can't call women out, what are we doing?
Doing here? Thank you. What are we doing? Truth. I totally agree. And I don't. The thing I don't like about the red pill space is whenever somebody says, "Oh, he's a pro-black." How can be pro-black be bad? Like, why would that ever be bad?
Right.
Uh-oh.
Right.
My son is back. The one that was yelling in the background. He just walked in.
What's up, man?
Say hey.
He shot out. But yeah, I mean, pro-blackness is something that's needed. If we can't be for us, what's up, man? If we're not gonna be for us, who will be?
Exactly. Who will be? Who was that? Dr. Clark. We don't have no friends.
One of my favorite clips.
We do
You
not
want my
have no
friend look in the
friends.
mirror.
Right.
But
No, I'm with you.
another point you made, it wasn't in this video, it was in another video as well. Because I saw the video you put out today, and I saw the one you had with Carl Tone Jones.
Oh yeah, that's my guy.
You're doing it, man. You're doing it. But what was my point? I almost forgot my point. Give a shout out because I forgot my point. But oh yeah, black boys, like black boys need special attention.
Yes.
And I say that, and I talk about this a lot, been talking about it a lot for years. We need special attention because nobody ever focused on our self-esteem.
Thank you.
Nobody ever focused on us developing fully emotional beings, full humans who have that full range, who are, like I said earlier, more than just muscle and stuff. Go ahead.
Hold on, let me get him out of here because he's about to throw this ball and break my laptop.
All right.
All right, thanks.
Nah, you good. But you are putting an emphasis on black boys, and that emphasis needs to be put on black boys. But can you elaborate to the people from your research and your experience why an emphasis historically has not been put on black boys, and what we can start to do to counter some of those things?
Yeah, from everything that I see, when to me it boils down to a more well-rounded male is going to create a well-functioning society that can protect itself and help it grow. If you weaken the men, you open yourself up to attack, which will destabilize the society, and it won't be a society anymore. Not one recognizable by that people who started the culture will be something else because we've been dominated. So if you want to keep a culture down, then destroy, the boy's ability to turn into a man that takes care of his community.
Right. That was the movie Baby Boy.
Exactly.
I was telling somebody that this weekend because we explored Dr. Francis Cress Welson's theory of in America under the system of white supremacy, or globally under the system of white supremacy, black males cannot become black men, or cannot become men, period, because white men already occupy that space, and the only way black men can occupy that space, we have to move them out and take the power. Correct.
Yep, I agree. Same with Jim Sedanius in the outgroup male theory, social dominance theory. Same thing. I agree. You can't let us become men. We'll take care of what we need to take care of.
Right.
Because people get it misconstrued. We need killers. Who gonna protect us if we don't have the killers? But if we've convinced our black boys to kill their own, then we got a huge problem on our hands.
Right. Yeah, that's that misdirected energy.
Exactly.
But it's but you made a great point that if killers were so bad, America wouldn't spend the bulk of his budget on
military.
forces.
Correct, because it's definitely needed. We got more bases on foreign land than any other country, so we can quickly mobilize.
Right. And that's because violence is a useful tool when you know how to use it.
Exactly.
But nation building won't happen if the men if the boys aren't becoming men, and whoever occupies the male space don't believe in themselves. If I don't believe in myself, if I'm worthless, if I could be discarded, my life doesn't matter. Why would I contribute to my society?
Exactly. Why would you? You wouldn't? You just wouldn't. It makes no sense.
Exactly. But you know what? Just saying that makes sense. Why you see a lot of people, especially black men, just hanging out in front of the corner stores. They're just hanging there. Because I see it every day when I'm going to work. It just, I'm talking about, they'll wake up early on a Tuesday morning, 8 o'clock. It's cold as hell, and they out there.
As soon as that liquor store open, baby, they there with their homies.
Right. So how do you interact with the young men specifically, and how did you interact with them and help them recognize their level of self-esteem or even build their self-esteem?
Well, that's why I was hoping we could get some kind of program, because it's hard. I haven't been able to. If I had that answer, boy, I think we'd be in a better spot. But I want to do something where I can have more of an impact on that to help them see their self-esteem. Because, being a teacher, I still got to teach the lessons. I still got to grade the paper, so it's not a lot of time to do what you're suggesting. That's why I try to do the podcast and things like that with them, to get them at least have it running in the back of their mind.
Right. Okay. Now, but that makes sense though, because I didn't think about it at first till you just said it, but you got all this Common Core stuff that you got to do, and you got to go to whatever the school, and so you're fitting this in when you have time.
Yep. So what you're hearing, this is usually a break. Because I give them a break. The classes are 90-minute classes, so I'll give them a break, and I'll be like, hey, come over here, let me say something to you. Or if I heard them talking about something, I got to get that on camera. Come here.
Right. Okay.
So it's usually during a break.
No, but that's good though, because utilizing all the time that you have, making sure that you staying engaged, you staying plugged in with the kids, and they are able to get more out of the class than just the common stuff.
Yes.
Because half that stuff we already know. It depends on how it's taught to them. They might not even use it.
Facts.
Right. So, as a black male teacher, or somebody, gentleman who works in that space, as far as with the middle schoolers and the high schoolers, I know, like you say, you had the lesson plan, the school had their goal, but what was your personal goal as a black male teacher for the students, like an outcome that you wanted, and were you able to meet that outcome?
Yeah, to get the majority of the students reading more, comprehending what they read better, have some self-confidence, and I wanted them to have a positive black male role model. So I think I accomplished that all the time.
Good.
Especially the reading, because it's just so hard with the technology to get somebody to see why they need to read. But so I started off teaching high school. Coming to middle school, it's been easier once we got our routine going that they actually read. So every day we read. Good. That's what I said with Tone. I'm sure you saw that, Professor Tony. But every day they're reading, and I'm so proud of my students. Every day, I know they get sick of me, but every day we read. That's the first thing we do every day.
That's good.
Yeah. So I'm really proud of them. I'm proud that I do that. And I think more teachers need to, because they're trying to convince us to try to play more games with them and use more technology, but it's nothing like just reading.
I mean, if they can't read, what's the point of giving the games to them?
Thank you. I know. I agree.
It's basic stuff. Basic stuff. But also with them, what they're talking about, so many black boys reading on a 4th grade level. You would think that reading would be more of a priority.
Okay.
We would play.
I'm ready. I'm ready for this quick. So they have increased funding for kids who speak a different language. This is how the racism is in education. They give all the money to people who don't speak no English, but there's no money for our kids who struggle with reading. They care more about these other people who just became citizens or maybe working on citizenship, but there's no programs for us because it is so hard to increase somebody's reading levels without intervention. Like they need to be taken out of class, or somebody needs to be in there with them reading. I can't do it. Like, right. I got 25, 30 kids. How am I going to help a struggling reader? Like, we need, just like these kids who speak a different language get pulled out and they got special classes and special time. That's what all of our kids deserve. And especially the black males, because we're the lowest readers.
The schools don't care, though.
No.
They don't. And I think parents need to really understand that. Like, teachers like you are not the norm, unfortunately.
No, that's true.
Unfortunately, teachers like you are not the norm. So parents need to be more involved, need to be more engaged to know what's going on, who's at the school, who's teaching their child. Like my mom was at school almost every day. Like everybody knows she'll pop up. Like everybody thought we was African because she would wear this little dashiki from over. So, but she was always at the school. But it's like everybody knew, like, you don't mess with Miss Ward's son because she gonna be up here. But that kind of stuff is needed, especially having a teacher like you and having somebody like my mom. That's the reinforcement, because you are reinforcing what she teaches and she's reinforcing what you teach, and it's a relationship that I don't think a lot of parents and teachers may even understand that they have. Everybody who's a mentor figure to this child, y'all in a relationship of some sort together to raise this child.
Oh, I totally agree, and that's why I would advocate for. I agree with you. I would just say that because of our economic situation, it makes it harder for the parents. Because if they work in multiple jobs and they struggling, it's going to be hard to find time to sit down with your kid. Because what I've noticed is the more money you make, the more time you have available to sit with your kid and teach them. But when people don't have, because also I don't like people telling me, oh, because I'm poor now I can't have a social life. Oh, I can't have fun because I'm poor. So every second of my day I got to do what you think I should be doing. No, that ain't no life. But the more money people make, the more time they have to spend with their kids and allow them to read. Because I thought about my own upbringing. My parents and my parents' parents were foundry workers and worked in mines and coal fields. How the heck was they gonna know to sit with me and read when they exhausted when they get off work? Okay, so what? He want to drink a beer when he done working his hard 10, 12-hour shift, or my mama too. Like, they're not. We don't have a whole culture of professionals who are lawyers and doctors and had all this time to take you on trips and read you these books and stuff. That's not our experience. But we need to, start working towards a society that gives people that more time to be with their children and go to the school. You know what I mean? Because like for me, I'm blessed. I can take off of work and go to my child's school. But a lot of parents, they can't take off.
That's true. That's a good point. That's a great point. That's a great point. But I also that's a reflection of the system that we're under.
Yes.
Like it's multiple layers, it's multiple things, and being able to see it as a whole system will help us be able to better explain what's happening to us. But trying to look at it in the individual things, you're gonna miss a lot. But that's parents not having the economics mean they have to work more, which means they don't have enough time to spend with their kids, which means it may it's a good chance it's going to affect the child's performance in school, the child's attendance in school, all of those things.
All of it. I agree with you, and that's why what you're doing is awesome. Salute to you every day. I love what you're doing. Your shows are so awesome. What I'm doing, what other people are doing is so important. Is just to wake up that part of our consciousness to see it's not simple, y'all.
Right.
It's multi-layered, like he said. It's a process that we're gonna have to go through to get, this system turned around, destroyed, and create a new system. But that takes time. And the revolution ain't gonna be us shooting a gun. It's gonna be us reading and talking and working on ourselves, meditating, all these things I ain't thought of or talked about yet. But this is the process.
Right. Like, because we keep talking about getting from under the system white supremacy. That means we have to run a whole society.
Exactly.
So we got to know how to do
study
that.
Exactly.
And you have to play your part. 'Cause I already know I'm probably not gonna be in infrastructure. So that's why my hat goes off. I already know the garbage man is way more important than me. Let them not pick up the trash for 6 months. Watch how many people get sick.
And see, those are the arguments I use against people who support capitalism. Because the most important jobs doesn't mean you're going to get paid your worth. Like you said, that garbage man is needed. That cashier is needed. The fast food worker is needed. But they don't get paid that because of capitalism.
Right. Man, great chopping it up with you, bro. We definitely gonna do more of this. This is the first.
You can make it a regular,
Yeah, this is the first of many because you got a lot more content. We got a lot more conversations, and there's a lot more work to be done just overall. But just being able to connect with different black men who are on the same wavelength, and we all have a similar goal. We're just using different vehicles to get to the goal. And so, thank you for all the work that you're doing. It's an honor to have you on this channel, be able to chop it up with you. Keep doing what you're doing with Carl. Keep doing what you're doing with Tommy Curry, Dr. T. Hassan Johnson. Oh, shout out to BGS Iltmore too.
Yeah, BGS.
The OG, man. Drops. Yeah. I basically been listening to you and him the whole day. So, yeah, man.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, but I think all of us, everybody that I just named, even my man Patrick, all of us, I like it because we're on the same mindset, the same wavelength as far as being able to attack this from a realistic academic standpoint, not just a feeling standpoint and just talking points, but doing our research and matching it up with real life scenarios and has this happened in history to get realistic outcomes.
Right.
Yes, sir. So Black Family Institute is the YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe. The link is in the description. So there are links for the Black Family Institute, the breakdown that we did of Brother Rodney's video, link for Dr. T. Hassan Johnson, BGS Iltmore, all of that will be in the description so we can learn together. This is On the Shoulders of Giants. Like I say, you will see us chopping it up again.
That's right.
Yeah.
Anytime.
We'll highlight you.
All right. Thanks.